Hello everyone, welcome back to my review channel. Today I'm doing the last film of the Toxic Avenger series. This is Toxic Avenger 4, Citizen Toxie. This is the last movie that's been out. This was out in 2000, the year 2000. Tromaville release. Let me see, unrated director's cut right here, 109 minutes. Yeah, last film they put out so far. I'll talk more about the future of it after this review. Let's get back into it. Let's just get into it a little bit. Directed by Lloyd Kaufman, had a budget of an estimated $500,000. I would say this is probably the best one yet. The best Toxic Avenger movie yet. It was all there. It's funny. It's funny. It's gory. It's just an all-around fun movie to watch with friends. I do believe this is definitely the best one. The humor was there, the action was there, the gore was there. Everything that you come to love with Troma films and Toxic Avenger in particular was there. So yeah, let's get into this. This quick synopsis. I'll just say a quick synopsis would be the Tromaville superhero Toxic Avenger gets transported to another dimension. It's the mirror image of Tromaville, Amortville. So yeah, he gets transported to the alternate dimension and has to get back home. Pretty quick synopsis. Here we go. I will say this has a ton of cameos and guest stars galore in this. It's crazy. You know, before I even go into the movie itself, I want to mention how many guest stars are in this film. And this is a B-rated company, how everyone perceives this company as this low-level, just nobody movie company. And they have all these guest cameos in it. And this happens all the time. But in this film, it's just overloaded with them. Okay, I wrote down all of these. So I'm going to try to get this. Corey Feldman's in it. He's done so much work. Even Friday the 13th. Corey Feldman. Ron Jeremy. If you don't know that name, then you might want to look it up. James Gunn. He's a director. He's a good director. Legitimate director, you could say now. But he's worked for Troma for years before he actually went on to do movies that you might have heard called Slither, and the movie with Rainn Wilson called Super. He directed those, wrote one of them himself, Super, I do believe. And there you go. There's James Gunn. Lemmy Kilmister. If you don't know that name, that's the lead singer of Motorhead. He's in this. Eli Roth has a guest appearance. Randy and Jason Sklar. I hope I say that, Sklar. They're twin comedians you see like on Comedy Central Presents and stuff. I like them. I think they're pretty funny, but I've seen their stuff. Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf. He's from, I never listened to it or watched it. Oh my god, how can I? It's that talk radio show. I cannot believe I brain fart. I don't even remember the name. I never watched it or anything, but I should remember that name. Believe it or not, Kevin Eastman is in this. That's right, the co-creator of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, with his wife, Julie Strain, who's like been a penthouse supermodel back in like the late 90s or something. There you go. Like, it shows her and it shows him. And if you don't know what he looks like, you probably just pass it up. Trent Haga. You wouldn't know him, but he's like he does a lot more Troma films, but he's wrote this film, he co-wrote this, he's played in like Terra Firma. He's an actor and a writer. Let me see. What did he did? I can't even remember what, but he did something else. Dang it. But the other guy, Joe Flashshaker, he's the big dude, the big fat obese dude you would see in most of the Troma films. But the thing is, this guy is the face of Michael Hurst. Like, if you always see me, he like co-directs a few of the old films. He He's like the co-president or whatever CEO of Troma. This guy is paid to to portray the visual appearance of Michael Hurst. Michael Hurst doesn't like the public eye. He kind of stays to himself, so he hires this guy to play basically him, to be the promoter and stuff. So that the last, I have to say the best for last, Stan Lee is a part of this movie. He plays a narrator in this film. His voice, awesome stuff. So there we go. Let's go on and get into this. Okay, so it starts off Tromaville, school for the very special, high school for the very special, or is being traumatized by this diaper mafia. they're just a gang with diapers on. They're asking for the really real bikini crew, which are like newscaster women in bikinis. They're asking for them. They say, hey, get what they want of their own. Kill more hostages, which are like the special students, and they do. Good gore parts in here. People are just getting shot up and hurt, and all this other good gore stuff's in here. Finally, the bikini models show up. They go inside, and the bikini model turns into, never happened before in any film, but he does it in this one, so whatever. Bikini model turns into Toxic Avenger. Okay, I'll just go with that. It looks funny. I'll take it. Turns into Toxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger goes on to just demolish everybody in that room. Gang related. Good gore here too. I mean, he shoves a guy's head up his ass. He obviously uses his mop to like stick people a few times. Take all this good gore. Let me see. One of the gang members breaks out a bomb, and then turns to Lardass, eats it. Lardass is just introduced to this film. First time, he's supposed to be Toxic Avenger's sidekick, but his name is Lardass. And he eats the bomb. Then the bomb explodes. Kills, everybody, except Toxie, of course. Toxie walks out of the building. Something happens. Something happens, like with the shows the film shot. It's like everything's changing colors, or something's happening. That's where Toxie goes into the alternate dimension of Amortville. Troma spelled backwards. Amortville. So he walks out of the building. Everyone in the crowd's like hating on Toxie. And then who shows up but Kabuki Man in this nice car, like black Cadillac type, picks up Toxie and they get out of there. Toxie doesn't know what's going on, why everyone hates him. Meanwhile, in Tromaville, Noxie, which is the alternate Toxie, the noxious offender, walks out of the building in Tromaville and proceeds to cause havoc via rips off one cop's arms and kind of demolishes a few of the citizens of Tromaville. I mean, there's people in the background and stuff. People in the background, there's like Ron Jeremy's the mayor. This is where you see Lemmy, Lemmy the Motorhead guy, all these cameos. Right? Stan Lee, the very beginning of this movie also, I should have mentioned earlier, but Stan Lee narrates the very beginning of this film. Kind of like sets you up to what's happening. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so now, I do believe they are in Amortville. Toxie's in Amortville. And there's a scientist that just pops up. The scientist goes on to explain how the explosion transferred everybody, like Noxie to Troma, Toxie to Amortville. This scientist is James Gunn. The scientist, which has a persona of like Stephen Hawkins, plays a character like Stephen Hawkins. That guy is played by James Gunn. James Gunn, whoever I just mentioned, what he does. Now, keep looking down at these. Toxie shows up. You notice something's up because they look at the back and it's not the same sign as the original school. So that's how you know he's in a different dimension. Let me see. Toxie walks around this Amortville, trying to figure out where he's at, and finds the same gang that he just ripped apart in Tromaville, again alive, and he proceeds to rip them apart again. So, good gore right here again. Back in Tromaville, the mayor, Ron Jeremy, the mayor breaks out, or like, brings together a gang of superheroes that he brought together to fight Toxic Avenger, who they don't know to be an evil, but is doing evil things. So they try to combat this with his own group. This just like funny little names, funny little characters. One chick is called the Vibrator. There's Dolphin-Man, Madcow-boy, the Masturbator, two guys who were stuck in an elevator together, like Master DJ and like something Bader. They were formed together to become Masturbator. And led by the leader, one Sergeant Kabuki-man, NYPD. So there you go. This Sergeant Kabuki-man is not played by the original man who played in the first film, the legit film, Sergeant Kabuki-man, not played by the same actor. Saddens me a little bit, but whatever. They also made this Sergeant Kabuki-man like a drunk idiot. So I don't know what they're going with this. I think everybody just wants to see a Sergeant Kabuki-man sequel, but Lloyd Kaufman just doesn't know what to do with them. He obviously already just like made him a completely different character from the 1990 version to like the cameo version in Toxic Avenger a decade later. Toxie and Mortville does a little crime fighting, finds Claire in this dimension of a Mortville. He finds Claire in this dimension. I should say that Claire in the like the Tromaville Claire, they changed her name to Sarah. And I don't understand why. Even if they explained it in the movie, which I don't remember them saying they did. But even if they explain it, I don't understand why they changed her name. They still call her Claire, but she's Sarah. They call her Sarah. Like, her name, like, they, all of a sudden, I don't know why, I guess they just forgot her name and decided to call her, I don't know what possessed them to do this. Just all of a sudden, just change her name. Let's just call her Sarah. Anyways, they call her Sarah, but this is supposed to be the same chick, Claire. This Claire in a Mortville dimension is deaf with, like, bad buck teeth. She also has a boyfriend that's not Noxie, even though Noxie's been keeping her as like a sex toy, basically. Her real boyfriend is the like ex-scientist dude that was lard-ass in Tromaville. He's like an ex-scientist in this one. Noxie, while in Tromaville, gets in bed with Sarah Claire, and yeah, so in Tromaville. While in a Mortville, Toxie must fight Kabuki-man, which they kind of figure out like they're not on each other's side. Noxie in Tromaville kills the mayor, makes himself mayor. This brings out another dude who's the chief of police so far. He starts to turn into like he didn't like Toxie, but he likes Noxie, this Toxic Avenger, Noxie, for being evil. So he slowly starts to portray this like Nazi persona, the chief of police, while like since he's on Noxie's side, they're being evil, and it's pretty funny. He starts to have this like, you know, Nazi uniform, Nazi stance, all that Nazi crap. But this is like this is basically Cigar Face from like the first 3 movies. By the way, it's like the same actor. Let me see. Right after like Noxie kills the mayor of Tromaville and stuff, there's this black and white homage, if you will. If you ever saw the movie Citizen Kane, the old like 1920s film, great film by the way for an old black and white film, great before its time. But it's a homage to that film. Once it gets to this black and white version of like what's going on, it gets a black and white film. It's basically a homage to Citizen Kane. If you ever saw Citizen Kane before you see this, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me see. This is the scene where Kevin Eastman and his wife is in. This is also the scene where Kevin Eastman, who, if you don't know him, you wouldn't recognize him. And he plays the biker. He's the dude with a mustache, a little goatee, hanging up on the topless chick, which is his wife. That's the playmate, or that's the penthouse whatever chick. So they were married, or they are married, and they make the cameo right here. The superhero group in Tromaville, Dolphin-Man, Kabuki-Man, Vibrator, Masturbator, they all decide to go after Noxie, and by doing that, they all get killed by Noxie. But Sergeant Kabuki-Man was able to run away. Saved his own life, thank God. In Tromaville, Claire goes to the doctor, who is Corey Feldman, cameo, where he proceeds to tell her that she is pregnant, but they already know she's pregnant. By close to the beginning of the film, we pretty much know she's pregnant. It goes to tell her that she's not pregnant with just one child, she's pregnant with two. And not only, it's like, could be either Toxie. It's either from the good Toxie or from bad Toxie, Noxie. So, it's either a good baby or a bad baby. They don't know, but she has to pick. She has to pick. While in Amortville, Toxie reunites Lardass with his girlfriend, the Amortville version of Claire, Sarah. So they get together. Lardass goes to the scientist's place, where his friend the scientist was, I should say, in this film. Finds the old lab, and they proceed to try to help Toxie, the Toxic Avenger, try to get him back to his own dimension, out of this dimension, Amortville. So, they try to help him. That little montage with music in the background. I should say, the music in here is very bit updated. It's more punk, rock, ska, punk, 80s kind of. Like, you see the guy from Motorhead in it, it's more like that. Punk, like that kind of metal, punk music in this. So, even already a better, like, soundtrack, too. Let me see. They figure out a way to take Toxie, to get Toxie home via Wizard of Oz Red Ruby Slippers. They're like, hey, you've had the way to go home this whole time, Toxie. What? Put on these red ruby slippers. There's no place like home. Okay. Let me see. First, there's a couple times it doesn't work for him. First, he ends up in the, 1970s porn flick where he, gets, butt hammered a little bit. And then he tries it again, and then winds up with God. It turns out God's being played by the angry dwarf. And then the God, sends him on the way back to his dimension of Tromaville. He wakes up on his bed, with Sergeant Kabuki-Man right next to him, beat up by Noxie, but alive. Sergeant Kabuki-Man goes on to let him know what's the situation in Tromaville, and, Toxie goes to find his evil alternate doppelganger at the hospital with Claire. Since Claire's about to give birth, Noxie's there, Toxic Avenger goes to the hospital to find him, and there we go. Okay, Toxic Avenger must fight his way through the hospital, through all these Nazi, thugs. Toxie gets to Noxie after great gore part, by the way. I mean, all these fights that Toxie has to get in, Toxic or Noxie, it's just great gore throughout. So this whole hospital scene is just good gore fights. I mean, ripping out, ripping out eyes, ripping off balls, shoving mops through people, snapping their necks, ripping them off, ripping heads off, all this good gore. So fights. So Toxic Avenger finally gets to the noxious offender in the hospital. They start to fight while you see inside the womb of Claire, Sarah, the two Toxies are also fighting. The two evil and good Toxic Avengers. It gets to the fight scene where Noxie is about to rape Toxic Avenger. I put them both together. Toxic Avenger is about to rape the Toxic Avenger with his monster penis. Yeah, the penis looks like a little monster, like a monster. So he's about to rape him, but Toxic Avenger was able to counter the attack, use the pump that the Noxus was on his own penis and blows Noxus' penis up. Defeats him that way, and then goes on to rip out the guts of the Noxus offender. Good gore part again. Good gore. After ripping out of his guts, evil Melvin pops out of the body of the evil Toxic. This is the original actor who played Melvin. He's got a little bigger, but it's okay. Original dude, loving it. It's the original actor that played Melvin, the legit guy, loving that part. So he's able to, like, through his guts, like, you know, come out. You know, he's evil. So Toxic throws him out a window into toxic waste, and then it shows him being running away on fire. This is straight from the first film. They took the same scenes from the first film and put them right here. You see Troma do this all the time. It's a way to save money, and Lloyd Kaufman loves it. Anyways, I like it too. I think it sets him up to be the noxious offender again. It's hilarious. This ends with Sarah Claire giving birth to the Toxic, giving birth, you know, to the baby, and the doctors are coming in. Sergeant Kabuki-man's there. The doctors hand her the baby. Looks like Toxic offender. It's all good. Realize that she actually did have 2 babies, and they think like, oh my God, it's the evil one. Toxic's like, it's okay. It's just a product of the environment. We can raise him to be a good kid. Gives her the baby, and it turns out it looks just like Sergeant Kabuki-man in YPD. And it kind of like ends there with her like, what? You know? So, funny little ending. And actually it ends with the narration by Stan Lee again. So there you go, more Stan Lee. I love this movie. So there were so many guest cameos in this. And even more guest cameos from other actors from Tromaville. Sorry, I say Tromaville. Other actors from Troma films. Like Rick Collins, just Haga. I mean, there's so many guys that have played in the other films that are also in this. Cigar Face, the leader of the Bad Girls, is like one of the nurses in this. There are so many. There's this, like, besides Ron Jeremy, there's this porn producer that makes a film appearance. I mean, there's all types of film appearances in this. Like I said, great action, great gore. For a B-rated film, this is great, good stuff. This is the best Toxic Avenger movie to date, in my opinion. Of course, you can't go wrong with the first one, or in my opinion, the second or third one. I like those. I love the chairman of Apocalypse Inc. I thought he was the actor who plays it is hilarious. Anyways, this is in my opinion, best one. Everyone should look into this film, into the franchise. You should look it up. Give it a shot, if nothing else. If you don't mind watching terribly bad movies, but if you can get past that, if you don't just like film quality, that's all it is. Film quality. It's just great. The funniest Toxic movie to date. The goriest. I love it. Doesn't take itself seriously, of course, but also has even a moral ending to it sometimes. Always try to give you something there. It always tries to give you something more than what it is. Even Lloyd Kaufman tries to put like Shakespeare and stuff, like old Hamlet, into like the old like movies and stuff. And this one had old Citizen Kane homage. And so there you go. I mean, the list goes on about why everyone should look up these movies and just watch them. Give it a shot. If I say any one of these movies is worth a rent. At least a rent. If you like one, you should definitely buy it. I would suggest if you bought one movie, if you rented one movie, I would say either the first one for being the setup, but maybe I would suggest this movie. rent this fourth movie. If you like it, watch the rest. I would say this one because if every one of them gives you a recap of the first film anyway. It gives you a recap of the origin anyway. So any film would be good. I think this one, Toxic Avenger 4, Citizen Toxie, you should go out, you should rent it, you should watch it with your friends. Have a good time. It's supposed to be funny. It is funny. It's the best one. Good gore. Sergeant Kabuki Man. All these guest cameos. I could just go on, but I shouldn't. Toxic Avenger, the complete set. I love doing these films. I love doing these reviews. I love watching these films. Toxic Avenger, the next movie, I will mention that right now. It is in the works. Lloyd Kaufman is always thinking about it. It's always in the back of his mind. It should be coming out soon, quote unquote, but the realization is it always takes longer than it should be, or it always takes longer than he says. But it's really to give you a little basis of what it's going to be about. He keeps going with the Toxic Avenger continuity, so he's going to leave the kids as a part of it. Toxic Avenger with Claire, they have 2 kids, and the Toxic Avenger is like, you know, growing up, he has kids, he's being an adult, he has to deal with all these new things. That's where he's trying to push it so far. I don't mind, I don't care. I kind of want an updated version of it, and I kind of wish he would just, like, sometimes he just won't let go of his character rights. He doesn't want to get Hollywood as a part of it, but he always talks about having Hollywood remake of his... He's always talking about having Hollywood remake his movies as a joke. I don't know if he legitimately let Hollywood just do a remake. Give him some money. I understand you're the last bastion of, like, their artwork of movies, independent films, but if you just let Hollywood have one film to remake it, you'll have more money for Troma films to put out better quality to be an independent film. You could have better quality, and it's not like you have to have any more. I mean, just give the fans what they want. They want a legitimate, a good style Toxic Avenger film. I mean, I don't care. A lot of people don't care, but a lot of people do. A lot of people care enough about Toxic Avenger. I said it. People care enough about the Toxic Avenger to want to see a big budget release of this franchise. I say give it to him. That or Sergeant Kabuki Man. He was offered like $2 million or something like that for a Kabuki Man film, but instead he decided to make the one that he did in the 90s or 1990, and we saw like how that came out. I mean, I thought that definitely could have. It started off good, but I think by the end he just didn't care about what he put out. But anyways, there we go. There's this film, Toxic Avenger 4. Citizen Toxie, great stuff. Go out, watch it yourself if you haven't, and there you go. Citizen Toxie. I don't think there's anything else I can mention. I hope I didn't miss anything. I probably did. I'll try to write it in the description if I remember. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your time. You guys have a great day, and thank you very much for watching my channel.